guys, Prowl 1701 here, and we're continuing our ranking of the Doctor Who seasons / series from worst to best, and we're doing Classic Who and Modern Who's. We got 41 slots, including a couple years where we had more specials than actual seasons. And right now we are at number 33, and it's going to be Series 10, Peter Capaldi's final season. Now, some people are going to be a little cross because they probably think this one deserves to be higher. And let me be clear that this is my favorite version of Capaldi's Doctor. I love Series 10 Capaldi. If all of Capaldi's run was Series 10 Capaldi with some better writing, he'd be higher up on my Doctor's list. He's kind of more in the middle of the list. But I love Series 10 Capaldi, where he's really figuring out who he is. Plus, I love Alice's artwork on this steelbook. And there's some great episodes this season. For a long time, Series 10 was my favorite Capaldi season. Because I love Bill. I like Bill a lot more than I do Clara. And this one has some really good episodes. The pilot is okay. For some reason, it's not memorable to me. It has moments. But ultimately, I find it kind of like Terminus, just forgettable. I never really find myself wanting to go back and watch it. And a lot of how I'm ranking these goes back to not necessarily how objectively good I think they are, but rewatchability. How often do I want to go back and watch these episodes? How often am I like, yeah, I need to watch that again? And the pilot's never really on that list. While I don't dislike it, I never really have the urge to go back and watch it. I like Smile. Smile's fun. Smile's not like phenomenal or anything, but I like it. It's interesting that they did an emoji episode and they made it work. It's creative. It's interesting. It's Doctor Who being creative. I like when Doctor Who does that. So it's an interesting episode. It's on my like list. It's one I like to go back and revisit every now and again. Now, then we come to Thin Ice. Thin Ice is my second favorite Capaldi episode. It is phenomenal. I love this episode. Heaven Sent is my favorite of his, but Thin Ice is right behind it. They're almost neck and neck. Easily my favorite of Series 10. And I love how good it looks. I mean, the BBC, man, when they do period pieces, like Victorian time period pieces, they look good. The costumes, the camera work, the dialogue. I love this episode. It is phenomenal. And really, this is my anchor for the season right here, or the series right here. I love this one. This is the episode in Series 10 I rewatched the most. We even see a child get killed in it. It shows a child death. When you just see his hand sticking out of the ice holding the screwdriver. I love when Doctor Who doesn't pull its punches. And it doesn't pull its punches. And then I like when he's telling Bill, we're going to negotiate. We're going to be diplomatic. And then he ends up punching the guy in the face. And then that whole speech when she's asking him, have you seen someone die? And he's, have you ever killed someone? He's, well, how come you're not upset about it? Because then more people die. That whole scene is just phenomenal. I love Thin Ice. It is one of the reasons why Modern Who is also amazing. I love Classic Who, but I also love Modern Who. And stories like Thin Ice are the reason why. Knock Knock. Again, I've only watched this one once when it originally aired. It deserves a rewatch, but I'm never in the mood to rewatch it. I hate the fact it cops out at the end and everyone survives. For the most part. Not the dad and the daughter, but like all the people who've been getting snatched throughout the episode. No, they're okay. This is an episode where it went for the PG rating, and it pulled its punches, and it kind of killed the ending for me. So as much as it deserves a rewatch, I'm never in the mood to go back and rewatch it. The next one on the list is Oxygen. I hate Oxygen. It has a phenomenal opening. That opening teaser is creepy. I mean, we kind of have space zombies. It's interesting. That's a cool opening teaser. Although I hate the fact the girl got killed. That little bit of time I'd already gotten attached to her. I hate she died. I don't like it. The Doctor going blind, Bill surviving when she shouldn't have. I just don't like Oxygen. The whole thing about it always comes down to the suits. Very ham-fisted. I know some people like Oxygen. I think it's garbage. Next on the list is the Monk Trilogy. Now, I actually like Extremis. I don't love Extremis, but I like Extremis. I like the idea behind the episode. I like the concept. Kind of reminds me of Android Invasion, but in a digital era. I like that. I think it has a good ending with the twist when you find out, that's all been, the digital stuff going on. I like that. Extremis, I think, is very good. I don't love it, but I like it. It's Doctor Who doing something different. I love when Doctor Who is being Doctor Who. Then you have the other two parts and they suck. They suck. Dum 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 dum. Then we have Empress of Mars. I like Empress of Mars a lot. I like the Ice Warriors. I like that the Ice Warriors are used sparingly. We didn't see them a whole lot in Classic Who. We haven't seen them a whole lot in Modern Who. I like that. You don't get weary of them. They can still feel like a threat. And I think they're utilized really well in Empress of Mars. I think the scenery is good. I think the dialogue is good. I think the actors do a good job. I like it. I enjoy Empress of Mars. Both of the Modern Who stories that have had the Ice Warriors, I think, have been really good. And then we have the Eaters of Light. This one's not that great. I rewatched it recently, and I appreciated it more than I did the first time I watched it. It's watchable. It's not bad, I think I said in my review. I don't like the fact the creature looks like it stepped out of a Tron movie. They don't even go for the scary aesthetic. It just looks like it's got neon lights all over it. I keep expecting it to go, I fight for the users. I don't know. It looks silly and kind of takes me out of it. The whole message when Bill is talking to the Roman soldiers, you like what you like, feels a little forced. It doesn't, as I mentioned in my review, it doesn't bother me, but I take note of they're taking time out of what's going on in the story to preach their message there. And it seems unnecessary. It seems like something that's more fitting for a deleted scene, like something they put in and then got cut for time. It's a deleted scene that got left in. There's no reason for it to be there. And I don't know how historically accurate it is, I don't know if the Roman army had that kind of diversity in it in real life. Because I'm not going to sit here and say, that doesn't look right, that person shouldn't be there, that person shouldn't be there. Because I don't know. I don't know if that kind of diversity was present in the Roman Empire. And I don't know of that kind of intimate preferences. I don't know how prevalent that was in the Roman army. So I don't know if that's accurate or not. So I'm not going to sit here and say whether that's right or that's wrong because, from a historic standpoint, because I don't know. It just felt like it was a deleted scene that was left in. Like they wanted to get their little message across. Again, it doesn't bother me. It's just something I took note of as it was happening, and it did kind of pull me out of the episode. Like I said, it's another one of those episodes. You'll watch it once every 10 or 15 years, and then that's about it. And then you had the, what was that, World Enough in Time, and The Doctor Falls, which is good, which I also like Twice Upon a Time. That's not technically part of the season, but I think of them as a trilogy. I enjoy that. Again, one of the few times the Cybermen have been utilized well in Modern Who. Part 2 doesn't quite live up to Part 1. The Cybermen, I don't like that they so quickly rushed to the then current Cyberman design. I would have liked to have seen something in between the Mondasian Cybermen and the modern ones, some Earth shock, some the invasion, something. Or just more of the Mondasian Cybermen. But it is interesting having a story with multiple masters, with Missy and the Master. That's cool. We've never seen that in the show, so that was neat. And Capaldi is just a tour de force in this. And of course his speech to both of the Masters is a phenomenal speech, a wonderful speech. So yeah, it's definitely one of the highlights of the season. It's just, you have a few really good stories, a couple really bad stories, and then a lot of stories that are just somewhere in the middle. And that's the reason why this one's not quite my favorite Capaldi series, even though this is my favorite version of Capaldi. And Bill is definitely my favorite Capaldi companion. Favorite Capaldi companion. It's a fun thing to say, Capaldi companion. But yeah, this is just ultimately where it fell. So I want to know what you think of Series 10. So comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, click the like button and the subscribe button. And the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon if you like what I do and would like to subscribe to what I do. There's a link to that down in the description below as well. I want to give a shout out to Stephen Crane, one of my top tier patrons. I appreciate his support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have a P.O. box. If there's anything you'd like me to review, just go ahead and slip it in there and send it my way. I'll give it a look. I also have a link to my Amazon wish list down there as well. Most importantly, go watch some Series 10, because it is good. And, well, some of it is good. And also, thank you for watching.